I'm sure the arcade version was better, but this is lousy. And the only reason I say that is the control. The special moves only work whenever they feel like it. You can try to throw a Hadouken the entire fight, and it'll never fucking work. Also, the voices sound like shit.
Listen, don't forget the antidote all over.
Oh my gosh, that's like something I hear at the school. It's like ding dun dun dun, and someone is speaking like ding dun dun dun. Like something I'll hear it in the school and we understand nothing. 学校の放送じゃんかよ。
The only characters you get to play as are Ryu and Ken. They can only be selected by plugging the controller into the first port for Ryu and the second for Ken. There's no character select screen. There's a couple training stages thrown in. It's primitive, but for one of the first fighting games, it wouldn't have been bad aside from the awful control. Come on, do the move, do the move! Oh, you son of a bitch! Come on, do a Shoryuken! Oh, come on, Shoryuken! More like sure you can. It's no wonder why nobody remembers this game. Of all the revisions and turbo enhancements they've done to Street Fighter 2, an already great game, it makes me wonder why they weren't doing the same to the original to make it better. Street Fighter the Good Edition. How about that? Believe it or not, the first game intended as a sequel was Final Fight. Originally, it was called Street Fighter 89. However, they treated it as an entirely different kind of game with a beat-em-up style. So Final Fight became its own series, but Capcom would often make small crossovers to tie them together. In Final Fight 2, you can see Chun-Li in the background. And some Final Fight characters would appear in later Street Fighter games. The title Street Fighter 89 was changed after they exhibited the game at a trade show. The feedback they got led them to change it on the grounds that it had nothing to do with Street Fighter. Oh, but not at all like that one. Whoa. Man, I got way off track. I still gotta finish this. You know what? I just noticed. The full title
I've played
is
the actual
Street Fighter
arcade game for
2010,
Street Fighter
the
1, and the controls are very bad. However, if you can land a Shoryuken, it's an instant win.
My gosh, it was that OP? Wow, I didn't know that.
Final fight. The irony is stunning and I'm nerding the fuck out of myself, but how do you make a game named off of two other games and not have anything to do with either of them? Maybe it means Final Fight as in this is the future, this is the final Street Fighter fight. But Street Fighter? Maybe it's based off the Street Fighter movie series from the 1970s.
There's a movie series?
It has just as little relation. Oh, and speaking of Street Fighter movies, remember Street Fighter the movie, the game?
Wait, I didn't know
This is
that.
the Sega Saturn version. How do you like that? Knocking another console off the list.
I didn't know that. What?
Anyway, this is one of the stupidest ideas I ever heard. They make a movie based on the game, and then a game based on the movie. Not to mention the movie was more or less based off Street Fighter 2 and not the first one. It kind of resembles Mortal Kombat with its digitized actors, but not as good. It's not a bad game either, it's like Street Fighter 2, but the controls are a little more stiff. For curiosity's sake, it's fun to play, but it just makes you wish you were playing Street Fighter 2 instead. Whoa. Alright, I got really sidetracked. I was trying to review Street Fighter 2010, and, you know, I just talk about one thing, I end up talking about something else. But that's what happens, man. And, you know what? If they didn't call it Street Fighter, maybe I wouldn't have had that problem. So, from this point on, let's just forget about the title, take the name Street Fighter, and just throw it away. The objective for each stage is to find a portal.
We were playing
the
this
portal
one.
never appears until you destroy the
this
target
one's not
enemy,
even
and that's
Street
why all the
Fighter.
enemies are called target. Yeah,
これ全然ストファイじゃないじゃん。This is not a Street Fighter at all. At all.
it is awkward, but that's what it means. So you destroy the target,
Wow.
the portal appears somewhere, and you have to race and get to it
This
within
is
a very
fade in.
short time limit, and I mean very short. There's a time limit within the stage, too. I'm running around trying to kill this plant thing, but the motherfucker won't stay still.
Uh-oh.
Come on, I'm running out of time.
Uh-oh.
Fuck.
No!
The
Street
graphics
Fighter, the movie, the game, the movie, the game, the web series, the comic book, the novel, the board game, the underwear, the cereal, the Bible, the action figure account.
My gosh, they have a
like some
lot.
kind
What
of
the
weird
heck?
cyber nightmare.
They have have
like
a
it.
lot.
It's kinda
The
like a cross
Bible?
between Salvador Dali and H.R.
What do you
Geiger.
mean, the Bible?
Other times, you're in a psychedelic limbo with clown music shooting at frogs.
Bible だよ.
The background looks like one of those magic eye pictures, you know, the ones you're supposed to stare at and go cross-eyed.
Thank you for pizza.
Each stage
Yappa,
gets
thank
harder
you.
and pushes you to new levels of frustration. There's this stage where the screen keeps moving horizontally. If you don't make it through fast enough,
Uh-oh.
you die.
Oh, this kind of
Sometimes
stage.
you have to choose between taking the time to kill an enemy or just rushing through because you're gonna die anyway if you don't move your ass.
Oh no.
Then there's this stage where the screen actually moves back and forth.
Oh no. Ah!
The most difficult thing about this game is attacking. There's so many airborne enemies that you can't do anything about. I'm climbing on a fucking waterfall of diarrhea.
Oh.
I can't shoot up or down, and because the enemies are coming from up and down, that's really a fucking problem.
That's so annoying. You
Ugh, I
can't even
can't
shoot
shoot
it.
you. Get away from me.
You can't
I'm
shoot it
getting
like
murdered.
a Mega
I'm
Man.
getting butt fucked up the dick.
What?
Then there's the sand stage where you have to fight a boss, but there isn't any foundation to be able to fight. You're jumping around in the sand trying to work your way to the bottom of the screen so you can shoot this guy, but every time you get low enough to shoot him,
What did he
he
just say?
shoots first and you gotta jump back up. You never get the chance. I wish all this fucking sand wasn't here. Then there's this stage where you have to shoot an eyeball on the ceiling, but there's no way to reach it unless you have full power up. But you can't go back and get any power up, so you're screwed. The only thing
Oh,
you can
no.
do here is wait for these mucus walls to build up, stand on the very edge right here, and then you have to face the opposite direction. And this is the only way you can hit this eyeball.
Oh,
but then
no.
good luck trying to avoid all the other shit coming at you. You can
Oh,
never pay attention to one
no.
thing at a time. This game is all about distractions, and it forces you to multitask. No matter how used to it
Oh,
you
no.
think you get, each level throws something different your way. You have to keep developing new strategies. This game is incredibly annoying, but it's also very
Gives me
stimulating.
pain that-
If the controls were less limited and some of its flaws were ironed over, I'd say it's an underrated NES classic. It gives you an adrenaline rush and it pisses you off just enough that you don't want to give up. Whenever you beat a stage after hours of trying, there's nothing more satisfying and triumphant than to hear that glorious sound. However, the final stage goes way too far.
Oh,
It's the
yeah?
most heartless and abominable end stage ever programmed. What you get here is an endurance round. You have to fight 3 bosses and then go on to a final boss who has 2 different forms. All
You
on
should
one
check out the
single life.
Magnavox Odyssey
You die
AVGN
once,
episode
you go
next,
back.
in case you're interested.
First,
Thank
it's
you
this
for
fucking
recommendation.
clam-shaped thing.
Arigato.
Then it's this
Thank
fuck
you.
brain. Then these 2 disappearing mummified armadillo robots in a room that randomly spouts fire all about. On top of
What
trying to
the-
stay alive, you have to do it all before the time runs out.
There's a timer.
Oh, look, I beat him. And
Oh,
the time's still going. Come
What
on,
the-
come on, I gotta get to the final boss. Yes, I made it. 2 seconds to spare. Then you get a cutscene. There's no way anybody's gonna bother to read this. Your heart is pounding so fast and you're ripping your hair out of your head wondering, what the fuck am I gonna have to fight now? I'm at the final boss. What is it? What is it? What?
What?
The fucking time limit? You think that
Wait, it doesn't get reset? It keeps continuing? First of all, why the heck they have a timer? And then the timer doesn't even get reset? What the fuck?
after the cutscene the timer would start over. But no! You fight the 3 bosses, then it's the cutscene, then you fight
way!
2 forms of the final boss. So that's basically 5 bosses in total, all on the same life bar and the same time limit.
That's insane!
You get unlimited continues, so there's no excuse to shut off the game. You just keep playing and playing and playing.
What?
Eventually, you start to get good at it. You can blow through all these bosses, taking as little damage as possible, but then the time always...
Literally, the game, all these classic games, it's like, oh, you're having trouble beating it? Lol, just get good like that. That's what it is! That's what it is! It feels like all these games before, it's like every game is a Dark Souls. Every classic game, it feels like you're playing Dark Souls. With any good armor. I grew up with a time that if I'm having trouble defeating the boss, the game will ask me, would you like to switch to easy mode like that? Yeah, or they have some kind of like solution, but like the game before, it's not like that. It's brutal.
runs out. So you do it real fast, but then you end up getting killed. Then you start to go through a phase where you get so frustrated that all the skill you've accumulated starts to weaken. So instead of getting better, you actually start to get worse because you've been playing the same fucking thing over and over.
Oh
The final
Just
boss
call
looks like a
1-800
big
get good.
blistering ball sack that swallowed Grimace. His only weak spot is the face. The ideal strategy is to climb onto the wall and keep shooting, but your beam doesn't reach. Not without full power-ups. You can try jumping off and shooting, but that takes too long. You don't
What do
have
you do?
time. When you're plowing through the stage, you gotta stop and get all the power-ups. But that wastes time too. But you gotta do it. You gotta somehow make it all happen. You can't beat one boss flawlessly, but then fuck up a little on the next one. You gotta 1. Beat all the bosses without getting hurt too much. 2. Get all the power-ups. And 3.
shit.
Do it fast as shit. All in one perfect run. But once you do it, man, you're on the fucking top of the world. Yeah, boom, boom.
He did it! No way!
And that, my friends, is Street Fighter 2010.
Oh, that was a
That's
Street
all I
Fighter.
have
I
to
even
say.
forgot
So
about
Happy
it.
New Year, Happy New Decade. Am I forgetting anything? Yeah. Forgot my fucking mail.
そうだ、これストリートファイターだった。I even forgot this was about Street Fighter. This does not look like a Street Fighter at all. At all. やばすぎる。すげえな。Okay, hold on, hold on. And next one, next one, next one, next one. Next one, next one. Alright, let's see it.
When in a tennis game would the ball ever fly around somebody? It's surreal because you can move wherever you want. It's not like you have to stay on your side of the net. So the players have to keep their own rules and their own score. That's right, the game doesn't even keep score.
You
It's a
have to
fucking
keep the score
free-for-all.
by yourself?
Now let's try the skiing game. All you do is move the
Go
light
many
through the
harder now.
slopes. And with these controllers,
What?
it's harder than it looks. The only goal is to stay in the lines and see how fast you can get to the end. It's up to the
Okay.
other player to keep time. Now that is what you call a desperate attempt at a video game. Now we have Simon
that?
Says. You just do what the card says and see who gets there first. Simon says go to the wrist. Simon says go to the pet's ear. Now this is some A-class entertainment. Look, it's the dog's tongue. Oh, look, he's got a nuclear boner. Nuclear boner! She's giving birth to a solar baby. Here
Oh
it
my
comes.
god! Oh my gosh!
It's time for football. And all I can say about this one is that for the first football game on a home video game console, it's fucking horrible. There's a board, a football marker, and pages of instructions to explain it all. You gotta